I'm Mayor Jen Grigoraitis, and welcome to the Melrose Minute, where we bring you news you can use from City Hall. And today, for our season finale before summer starts, we're doing a special issue where we yet again talk trash. And today I am joined by DPW Director Elena Proikis-Ellis and Deputy Director Jim Troop. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So it's almost July, and folks are starting to think about summer vacations and the beach, but it's also a really important date for the city of Melrose. What is going to happen on July 1st?
Yeah, so beginning Monday, July 1st, Casella will be our trash hauler. They're going to be our partner. They're going to be collecting trash throughout the city. You'll see their trucks. You'll see the carts. They're here for us.
All right, so this is a big shift because for the past over 10 years, we have had a trash and recycling contract with JRM Republic, and we're now going to be moving to a new vendor, Casella. Can you talk a little bit about how this program is different from what residents currently know?
Sure. So we've had a contract with JRM Republic for the last 12 years or so, and that contract expires on June 30th, and we didn't have any option to keep that contract. So we had to go out to bid and find a new vendor.
So I'm assuming, like most things in the world, a lot has changed in the world of trash and recycling since 2012 when we entered into that contract. What is going to be one of the biggest differences that residents will see?
So you see the big difference right here. This is going to be our new carts, automated pickup. Okay. When we went out to bid, we asked for every possible combination to try to get the best price. None of the haulers were interested in manual pickup. This is the future of trash and recycling, is the automated collection. This is the biggest change people will see.
And it comes with a lot of benefits. So first of all, these gorgeous new carts that every resident has had delivered to them, but also safer for the employees, right? Because they're not out picking up huge, heavy barrels of trash. Hopefully less litter on the streets because the carts are going to be automatically tipped, and hopefully fewer issues of barrels ending up where they don't belong.
Safer, faster, cleaner. The trucks won't leave Melrose. This is a good thing.
Great. Change is always exciting. It can be hard too. All right, so obviously a lot has changed since 2012 when we last entered into a trash contract, and it's been even longer since we addressed the fee that we charge to residents for this service. So can you talk a little bit about why that fee is changing and how much it's going to be?
Yes. So previously our fee was $200 a year, and now we're going up to $432 per year. So the fee has more than doubled since the last time we raised our trash fee. The cost of this new service is higher. The cost of disposal is higher. A lot of things have changed in the last 20 years, and we haven't adjusted our fees accordingly. So that's why we're seeing a big jump right now with the new contract.
Yeah, I mean, prices have definitely gone up in the past 2 decades, so that makes sense. And can you talk about where does the money go with the trash fee? What does the city do with it?
So the money with the trash fee is set to entirely cover our contracts for both hauling and disposal. So we have Casella is going to be doing all the hauling of both trash and recycling, and then our disposal is going to be going to waste management to our transfer station here in Melrose. And there's a cost for the disposal. The recycling will go to Casella's recycling facility, and there's also a cost to process the recycling. So the trash fee, the $432 per year, covers the full service of all of the hauling and all of the disposal.
Great, and that fee is going to go into what's called an enterprise fund, so residents are able to see just the fee paid is going to go into that fund, and then that fee is going to be used to pay for those services. So yes. Very transparent how we're managing
a dedicated fund, so it will come right in and go right out to our contracts.
So I see that we have some trash barrel and recycling barrels here with us to show off. So tell us a little bit about these new trash barrels. What do we need to know?
Sure, they're very simple. The red carts are going to be for trash only. It's labeled accordingly, and our blue is going to be for recycling. When they go out on the curb, wheels towards the curb, the lid will lift facing the center of the street, which allows the truck to come in, clamp on, and tip it into the back of the hopper, and then place it back. Sometimes the workers will have to get out of the trucks, and that's what the hook on the front is for. It'll hook on the back of the truck and tip up and in, and then it'll be placed back on the curb. We want them about 3 feet from each other or any other obstruction. We want to have it away from wires and or trees overhanging. We just want to minimize any potential damage that could be caused by being too close to other objects.
Okay, good to know. And it has a helpful arrow right here, street side. This is the way you want it facing the street. And every cart has the Melrose M on it and also an individual code so that we know which residence it belongs to.
Correct. I think you can see it right on the front. That is going to be very unique to the resident and to our customers.
Okay, great. So starting July 1, these are the only carts that can be put out for trash and recycling pickup. Does the actual pickup schedule change? What about yard waste?
So nothing changes with the schedule. Everybody will be on their same day that they were normally picked up, Monday through Friday, with the typical delays for holidays. And the yard waste pickup is done by city personnel, so nothing will change with that. The calendars that we sent out at the beginning of the year are still accurate. They have all the yard waste leaves shown on those weeks, and the city will still be picking up yard waste.
Great. And just as a reminder for folks, obviously we have a holiday coming up, July 4th, so trash and recycling is delayed one day.
The Thursday route will be on Friday, and the Friday route will be on Saturday.
Perfect, okay. And what about folks who look at this and say, this feels like it's going to be challenging to maneuver, 64-gallon cart bigger than what I used to have?
I will tell you, my friends have all said that they love allowing their kids to put these carts out.
Yep.
And I get it, they're big, they're bulky, but they're also very easy to manipulate. With very limited force and effort, I can lift this and tilt it back. And the weight inside will be a factor, but it'll still be fairly easy to wheel and such. The lids, very easy to lift, very easy to place the trash and the recycling inside the carts. It helps to be on a level surface, but if you have to, I'm sure there's plenty of people that will be able to help our residents with these carts.
Great. And obviously folks have old barrels from before these were distributed. I know we have a bit of a collection at our house. What can people do with the barrels that they no longer need or can use?
So we're recommending that they first try to reuse the barrels if they can. They can use them for yard waste. They can come down to the city yard and get an orange sticker to put on them that says yard waste. Any receptacle can be used for yard waste. They can use the gray Cascade barrels that we sold a couple years ago, those 32-gallon toters that look just like this, but they're a little smaller. They can come down to the city yard and get a recycling sticker for those. They're allowed to use those curbside for overflow recycling. We are encouraging people to try to find other ways to reuse their barrels. If they have neighbors, friends, anybody who wants to reuse their barrels or post them on their local Buy Nothing page. But if none of that works for folks, we are going to have 3 different swap or take back days. One in July, one in August, and one in October. And we're encouraging people to bring their old barrels and their old recycling bins. And anyone who wants to take good quality barrels and bins from that event is also welcome to come and take other people's disposed bins. And then what is left at the end of the day will go to recycling. Metal ones will go to scrap metal. Rigid plastic will go to rigid plastic recycling. And then anything that can't be recycled will go to disposal. But our goal is to reuse and recycle as much of the material as we possibly can.
That's great to hear, and thank you to both of you and your team for putting together those take-back days and giving residents all these options. It's really helpful to know that we're trying, when we go to this new trash and recycling contract, to not create more trash in the process. So thank you for that, and I know I will be coming down with some of my barrels in July. So we talked a little bit about 64 gallons, which I think was overwhelmingly the size preferred by residents in the survey we did this winter. But then we know that there are folks who actually think that 64 gallons isn't enough for the amount of trash and recycling that they create in a week. So can you talk a little bit more about what some of the options might be for them?
Sure. We're going to continue to evolve this program and see what other options might be available to the residents. Right now, if a resident wants to buy an additional barrel, the barrels themselves will be a one-time charge of $70. The recycling will have no additional charge once the person pays for the barrel. The trash, however, there's a variable, and that's the tonnage. The trash, on top of the one-time $70 charge, the residents will see an additional charge of $150 on their water and sewer bills, whether it's quarterly or whether it's monthly. That will be an annual charge of $150 for the additional trash that goes into this cart.
Okay, great. So definitely an option for folks who feel like they're going to consistently need more space. And then you mentioned tonnage, which is obviously a huge factor in the cost that we're paying, and we know that one way for people to reduce tonnage would be to reduce the food waste that they're throwing out. So can you talk a little bit about composting and some options that might be coming the way of residents through the city?
Yes, so we're actively looking into partnering with a company to provide curbside compost pickup. We're still working on that. We have to iron out the details of pricing, and so we'll probably be putting out a request for qualifications for companies for that very soon. We want to encourage people to compost. We also sell the backyard compost bins, so that's another method that people can use to compost. But we do strongly want to encourage people to reduce their tonnage. Most people will find that the 164-gallon container is suitable for a family. And we hope that people will try to find ways to try to keep their tonnage in that one container. If they can't, as Jim mentioned, we have the option of buying the second barrel, but our goal is definitely to reduce waste as much as we can.
And I think it's also important that people can go out and solicit a private vendor for their organics right now. It's not something that we're providing, it's something that we would, as Elena mentioned, have a preferred vendor, but people can go out and solicit that themselves right now.
Absolutely, and the more folks, many of these programs, the more residents that sign up, the cheaper the cost becomes to those residents to participate. So it reduces what's going into the waste stream, and then it could also be possibly more cost effective than getting a second 64-gallon barrel. So
yes,
great option all around. Thank you both for being here today and talking trash. We've been talking about it a lot since January. Is there anything else that you want to mention to residents before we go live next week with this new program?
I think our big message is just if you have any issues, contact the DPW, 781-665-0142. We're available during all business hours to answer your questions. We're eager to help. We recognize that there might be individual hardships or situations that people have that they want to talk to us about, and we're here to listen.
And not only are we willing to help and willing to answer the questions on the phone, there's going to be a QR code, and there's a very educational app that Casella is putting out for all Melrose residents. It's free, and it's going to be able to answer a lot of questions that people might have in an immediate fashion.
I think that's so great that you mentioned that, because the app is going to be able to tell people when there perhaps is a delay on their route or anything specific they need to know. That's really challenging information for us to get out citywide. We don't want to be, calling the whole city every time there's a delay in one section of the community. So there's an app for that. We encourage people to take advantage of that, and as always, to call the DPW staff with specific questions. I know your team has been fielding a ton of them and has really been trying to make sure that we can meet everyone's needs while rolling out this new program. So thank you both for all your work, and happy new trash contract.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.